Hello friends, welcome to lecture series in botany. Today our topic is angiospermic ovule, its structure and types. First we will try to understand the detailed structure of an ovule, then we will discuss its different types, and lastly we will try to understand development of different types of embryo sacs. Ovule literally means small egg. In angiosperms, the ovule is a structure that contains the female reproductive cells. The ovules are situated inside the ovary, attached to a special tissue called placenta. A fully mature ovule consists of stalk and the body. The stalk of an ovule is called funicle. One end of the funicle is attached to the placenta and the other end to the body of the ovule. The point of attachment of funicle with the body of an ovule is called hilum. The body of the ovule shows two ends, the basal end called the callosal end and the upper end called the micropylar end. Now, let us discuss the detailed structure of an ovule. A typical angiospermic ovule is composed of following structures. Number 1, integuments. The main body of the ovule is covered with one or two envelopes called integuments. Ovules with one integument are called unitegmic, and those with two integuments are known as bitegmic. Ovules without integuments are called ategmic. The ovules arise as a small amount of homogeneous tissue on the placenta in the ovary. Integuments arise close to the base of this homogeneous tissue. With the differentiation of integuments, the whole ovule begins to curve and assumes its final shape at megaspore tetrad stage. Although the integuments initiate later, they grow faster than the nucellus and soon surround it completely except in the region of the micropyle. In a fully mature ovule, the outer integument is more massive and thicker than the inner integument. The unitegmic condition of ovules is considered to be derived from fusion of the two integuments or by suppression of one integument. Next is endothelium. In some plants with unitegmic ovules, the nucellus degenerates at an early stage of ovule development and the innermost layer of the integument becomes specialized to perform the nutritive function for the embryo sac. This specialized tissue present around the embryo sac is called endothelium. The endothelium is usually single layered. However, in Asteraceae it may become multi-layered. It is 10 to 12 layered in Helianthus. Normally, the endothelium covers the entire embryo sac. However, sometimes it remains confined to the lower 2/3 of the callosal half or to the micropylar end of the embryo sac. Although detailed structural and physiological studies about endothelium are lacking, its presence around the embryo sac and its cytological features suggest that it may be functionally similar to the anther tapetum which surrounds the sporogenous tissue, and hence it is also called integumentary tapetum. Next is micropyle. A micropyle is an opening through the integuments of an ovule to the nucellus. Depending upon the presence or absence of integuments, the micropyle may or may not be organized. In bitegamic ovules, the micropyle is generally formed by either both the integuments or only the inner integument. When both the integuments are involved, the passage formed by the outer integument is called exostome, and that by the inner integument is called endostome. Next is obturator. Any ovular structure that directs the growth of pollen tube towards the micropyle is known as obturator. They exhibit great variation in their origin, morphology, anatomy, and extent of development. They may originate from the placenta or funiculus or both. The most common type of obturator found in Acanthaceae, Magnoliaceae, Lamiaceae is formed by the local swelling of the funiculus. In Tetragonia tetragonides, the obturator comprising glandular epidermal hairs arise from both sides of the long funiculus. The pollen tube grows along the obturator. The cells of the obturator produce surface exudates which provide nutrition, mechanical and chemical guidance to the pollen tube. Next is nucellus, a large parenchymatous mass enclosed by integuments is known as nucellus. It represents the wall of the megasporangium. Each ovule has a single nucellus. The nucellus is mostly consumed by the developing embryo sac or endosperm. In some plants, it persists in the mature seeds as a nutritive tissue. This persistent nucellus is called perisperm. In Podostemacea, the nucellar tissue breaks down, with the result a large cavity called pseudo-embryo sac is formed around the embryo sac. This feature is unique to Podostemacea. In the absence of endosperm in the Podostemacea, the pseudo-embryo sac, which contains cytoplasm and free nuclei, nourishes the developing embryo. Next is hypostase and epistase. Group of cells right below the embryo sac and above the vascular supply to the funiculus is termed as hypostase. Hypostase has been reported in many families like Zingiberaceae, Liliaceae, Umbelliferae. In Aristolochia, the hypostase persists in the mature seed. Some of the functions attributed to hypostase are: number 1, it forms a sort of barrier or boundary for the growing embryo sac and prevents it from being pushed into the base of the ovule. Number 2, it stabilizes the water balance of resting seeds over the long period of dormancy during the hot and dry seasons. Number 3, hypostase serves to connect the vascular bundles in the funiculus with the embryo sac and thus facilitates the rapid transport of food materials. Number 4, it may produce certain enzymes or hormones or play a protective role in mature seeds. The epistase is formed by the nucellar epidermis above the embryo sac. It forms a cape-like structure of cutinized cells and is distinguishable even during advanced stage of embryo development. Next structure is aril and areoloid. The annular outgrowth that is formed from the funiculus and surrounds the ovule like an integument is called aril. According to Maheshwari, in 1950, arrel is a new structure that is formed only in few taxa and sometimes represents a third integument. The arrel-like outgrowth that is formed from the micropylar region of the integument and surrounds the ovule is known as arrelode or arreloid. It helps in seed dispersal. Next is operculum. In some members such as lamina, the integumentary cells at the tip region divide and give rise to a cape-like structure with compact cells around micropyle. It is known as operculum. Next structure is coracle. Coracle is a spongy pad of tissue that is produced by the outer integument in micropylar region. It involves absorption of water during seed germination as well as seed dispersal to some extent. Now the types of ovules. On the basis of mutual relationship between funicle, chalaza and the micropyle, there are 6 types of ovules found in angiosperms. These are atropous, anatropous, campylotropous, hemianatropous, amphitropous and circinotropous. Let us discuss them one by one. Atropous. This type of ovule is also called orthotropous or straight ovule. In this type, funicle, chalaza and micropyle are situated on one vertical axis with micropyle directed upwards. It is found in Polygonum. Anatropous. These ovules are also called inverted ovules because the body of the ovule is so bent so that micropyle is directed downwards and lies close to the hilum. The chalaza and the micropyle are present on the same axis but not the funicle. It is the most common type of ovule found in angiosperms. It is found in Ricinus communis. Campylotropous. This is an ovule placed transversely on the funicle. The body is bent in such a way that micropyle gets directed downwards and is not in straight line with chalaza. It is found in members of Cruciferi. Hemianatropous. In this type, the body of the ovule is situated at right angles to the funicle. It is found in Ranunculus. Amphitropous. In this case, the ovule is curved in such a way that embryo sac also becomes horseshoe shaped. The micropyle is directed downwards and does not lie on straight line with chalaza. Amphitropous type of ovule occurs in members of Elismaceae. Circinotropous. This type of ovule is initially orthotropous but becomes anatropous due to unilateral growth of funicle. The growth continues till the ovule once again becomes orthotropous. As a result, funicle completely surrounds the body of the ovule. It is found in Opuntia. Now the development of female gametophyte or embryo sac. The development of female gametophyte involves following processes. Number 1 is megasporogenesis. It begins with the differentiation of archisporial initial in the nucellar epidermis. It becomes more prominent than its surrounding cells because of its large size, denser cytoplasm and larger nucleus. In teninusolate ovules, the archisporial cell directly functions as megaspore mother cell, whereas In crassinusolate ovules, it divides periclinally, cutting an outer primary parietal cell and an inner sporogenous cell, which functions as a megaspore mother cell. Single-celled archisporium is most common. However, multicellular archisporium is a family character of the Lorenthaceae. Megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspores, which are arranged in a linear tetrad. Occasionally, T-shaped or inverted T-shaped tetrads are also formed. When both the meiotic divisions are followed by wall formation, only one of the 4 megaspores functions and forms female gametophyte, and the other 3 megaspores degenerate. Generally, it is the callosal megaspore of the tetrad that is functional. However, in Onagraceae, the embryosac is formed by the micropylar megaspore. In Schizomeria serrata, as a rule, the subcallosal megaspore is functional. Next step is megagametogenesis and female gametophyte. The process of development of female gametophyte or embryosac from megaspore is called megagametogenesis. The development of embryosac begins with elongation of the functional megaspore, which is usually the callosal one of the tetrad. The elongation occurs along the micropylar callosal axis. The spindle of the first mitotic nuclear division in the megaspore is oriented in the long axis of the cell. Nuclear division is not followed by wall formation. A large central vacuole appears between the 2 daughter nuclei, and as it expands, the nuclei are pushed towards the opposite poles of the cell. Both the nuclei divide twice, forming 4 nuclei at each pole. At this stage, all the 8 nuclei are present in the common cytoplasm. After the last nuclear division, the cell elongates and is followed by cellular organization of the embryosac. Of the 4 nuclei at the micropylar end of the embryosac, 3 organize into egg apparatus, and the 4th one is left free in the cytoplasm of the central cell as the upper polar nucleus. The egg apparatus is attached to the wall of the embryosac only at the micropylar end, its major portion being surrounded by the central cell. At the callosal end, out of 4 nuclei, 3 form antipodals, whereas 4th one migrates toward the center to function as lower polar nucleus. The 2 polar nuclei come close to each other in the center of the embryosac. This mode of embryosac development occurs in majority of angiosperms and is known as the polygonum type. Now, the mature embryosac. The structure and possible function of various components of a mature embryosac are as under. Synergids. The synergids are elongated cells present at the micropylar end of the embryosac. A prominent structure called filiform apparatus is present at the micropylar end of the synergids. Synergids are epimeral structures. In embryosacs with 2 synergids, one degenerates before the entry of pollen 2 into the embryosac, whereas the other one degenerates shortly after the embryosac has received the pollen tube discharge. 3 functions have been ascribed to the synergids. Number 1, They play important role in directing the pollen tube growth by secreting some chemotropically active substance. Number second, the degenerating synergid forms the seat for pollen tube discharge in the embryo sac. Number third, Jensen in 1965 suggested that the filiform apparatus may be aiding the synergids in the absorption and transportation of materials into the embryo sac from the nucellus. Egg. The three cells of the egg apparatus are arranged in a triangular fashion. The egg shows common wall with the two synergids and the central cell. The egg cell wall is traversed by plasmodesmata on the sides of the two synergids and the central cell. The egg cytoplasm is rich in ribosomes. The egg cell may contain small or large amount of starch which is utilized during fertilization or early embryogeny. Antipodals. The antipodals degenerate before or soon after fertilization. In many plants, the antipodals are persistent and show some structural and cytological features suggesting their possible role in the nutrition of the embryo sac. Three main functions have been ascribed to antipodals. Number one, these cells may be associated with the nutrition of the embryo sac. Number two, they may store large amount of starch, lipids and proteins which are utilized by developing endosperm and embryo. Number third, they produce and secrete substances that control the growth and development of the endosperm. Central cell. It is the largest cell of the embryo sac and is mother cell of the endosperm. The enlargement of the embryo sac is largely due to the inflation of the large central vacuole of the central cell. The vacuole in the central cell is a reservoir of sugars, amino acids and organic salts. The two polar nuclei fuse before or during double fertilization to form the secondary nucleus. The central cell is connected with egg, synergids and antipodals through plasmodesmata. Now the types of embryo sacs. There are three main types of embryo sacs. These are monosporic, bisporic and tetrasporic. Each group has more than one type of embryo sac named after the genus in which it was described. Monosporic embryo sac. In this type, only one out of the 4 megaspores takes part in the development of embryo sac. All the nuclei in such an embryo sac are genetically identical because they are derived through mitosis of the single nucleus. There are two types of monosporic embryo sacs. Number one is polygonum type. The embryo sac is formed by the clasal megaspore of the tetrad and is 8 nucleate. The mature embryo sac comprises a 3-celled egg apparatus, 3 antipodals and a binucleate central cell. Next is Oenothera type. This type of embryo sac is derived from the micropylar megaspore of the tetrad and is 4 nucleate. The organization of mature embryo sac is an egg apparatus and a uninucleate central cell. This type of embryo sac is characteristic of family Oenograceae. Now bisporic embryo sac. In this type, 2 megaspore nuclei take part in embryo sac formation. Here, the first meiotic division is followed by wall formation so that a diet is formed. Only one of the diet cells undergoes the second meiotic division, whereas the other one degenerates. In the functional diet, cell wall formation does not occur after the second division, and both the megaspore nuclei contribute to the formation of embryo sac. Each megaspore nucleus undergoes 2 mitotic divisions, forming 8 nuclei. The final organization of the embryo sac is similar to the polygonum type. Bisporic embryo sac is of 2 types. Number 1, allium type. Here embryo sac is derived from the callosal diet cell. Number 2 is Endymion type. This type of bisporic embryo sac is formed by the micropylar diet. Now the tetrasporic embryo sacs. In this case, neither of the meiotic division is followed by wall formation. With the result, all the 4 nuclei remain in common cytoplasm, forming a cynomegastore. All the 4 megaspore nuclei take part in the formation of embryo sac. A tetrasporic embryo sac is more heterogeneous than a bisporic embryo sac because the 4 products of meiosis involved in its formation are genetically different. Tetrasporic embryo sacs can be categorized into 2 types. Number 1, where no nuclear fusion of megaspores occurs. It includes following types. Number 1 is Adoxa type. Here the embryo sac is 8 nucleate after a single post meiotic mitosis, and its organization is similar to that of polygonum type. Number 2 is Plumbago type. In this type also only one post meiotic mitosis occurs. The mature embryo sac comprises an egg cell and a 4 nucleate central cell. The other 3 nuclei are cut off as peripheral cells. Next is Pinea type. Here 2 post meiotic divisions occur, resulting in the formation of 16 nuclei. The mature embryo sac comprises 4 groups of 3 cells each. One group at micropylar end, one at the callosal end, and the 2 arranged laterally. The remaining 4 nuclei behave as polars. The micropylar triad functions as the egg apparatus. Next is Peperomia type. The embryo sac is 16 nucleate. The organization of embryo sac includes an egg apparatus comprising an egg and only one synergid, 6 peripheral cells, and a central cell with 8 nuclei. Next is Drusa type. This type of embryo sac is also 16 nucleate. The mature embryo sac comprises a normal 3-celled egg apparatus, 2 polar nuclei, and 11 antipodals. Category 2 of tetrasporic embryo sac, where nuclear fusion occurs. In this category, 3 megaspore nuclei fuse to form a triploid nucleus at the callosal end of the cynomegaspore. The 4th nucleus at the micropylar end remains haploid. It includes following 2 types. Fritillaria type. After the nuclear fusion, both the nuclei of the cynomegaspore divide twice, forming 4 nuclei at each pole. The mature embryo sac comprises an egg apparatus of 3 haploid cells, 3 triploid antipodal cells, and a central cell with 2 polar nuclei, 1 triploid and 1 haploid. Number 2nd type of this is Plumbago type. After the nuclear fusion, by a single division of each nucleus, 4 nuclei are formed, 2-8 micropylar end and 2-8 classal end. One of the haploid nuclei 8 micropylar end functions as egg and the other one functions as the upper polar nucleus. Similarly, one of the triploid nuclei at the classal end forms a single antipodal cell, whereas the other one functions as a lower polar nucleus. In this way, one polar nucleus is haploid and the other one is triploid. So friends, I hope that you might have understood the ovule structure and its various types. See you with a new topic. Till then, goodbye.